As I promised in the end of my previous video, when I told you about the things I took for granted before I got diagnosed with MS, I wanted to tell you a story about something that happened a couple of days ago, or a few days ago. I'm laughing about it now, but at the time it was quite scary. And one of my symptoms is that I have brain fog and like memory issues, and that affects me in various ways. So one of the ways it affects me is that I have trouble remembering things that I have to do. Things like taking my medication, for example. So I have like a set of alarms on my phone that will go off when I have to, for example, take my Vampira, right? So I have to take it every 12 hours. And previously I've had some reactions, like side effects to the drug, and I believe it was because I had mixed up my hours a little bit. So I was taking the medicine maybe too close together, and I had this temporary moment of being paralyzed from my shoulders up. I shared a video about that prior. And I was really bad for like half an hour. I was on the toilet, I couldn't control like anything. I was, I want to say, almost like unconscious. I couldn't communicate with the world around me. I could not, like, you know, I was there but I was not there. And I've also had a few like allergic reactions to it, but nothing major. And I recently went to see my specialist, a pharmacist who who gives me my medicine, and I've also seen my neurologist, talking to him about my prescription for Vampira, because I really want to continue taking it. On the drug I'm able to walk and use my legs without, you know, having terrible tremors and keeping me from walking. So I feel like the brain fog is improving too with this drug, so I really want to continue on it. But what happened the other night when I was supposed to take my evening dose, I remember the alarm going off telling me like, now it's time for your evening dose, but I did not remember if I then went and took the medicine. So after that I had to put the kids to bed. Caesar was not home that evening, and I was, you know, after doing the evening routine with the kids, I sat down to watch some TV. While I was watching TV, like, I had this light bulb moment go off where I was like, oh no, I forgot to take my medication again. Because that happens sometimes, and when it does, then I have to spend like that day without having the medication in my system. And I know that my ability to walk and all of those things get greatly affected, and I don't want to have to do that. So it was like a sudden panic urge in me to just go and take the medication. So I stood up really fast, my heart started pounding, and I went into the kitchen and I looked at my pill box, which has like 3 containers per day. And I don't know why, but in the morning compartment, the Vampira was still there. And then in the evening little compartment, I had various pills, but no Vampira. And instead of going, I took it, I'm good, oh, I forgot this morning, my brain went, oh gosh, there is still 1 pill. That means that I forgot to take it today. So I just took it. I swallowed it, and when it was going down my throat, I was like, hold on, I took it. Like, I had taken my evening dose. It's my morning dose that I forgot to take. So I took it twice. That means I took it twice in a matter of just a couple of hours. And it freaked me out to the point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a bad side effect, like something's gonna happen. I was provoking this horrible reaction in myself. I had a severe panic attack, and I could feel like all the things just happening. My heart was pounding, I was getting sweaty, like I was having trouble to breathe. I was like in this pure state of panic. And I called my mom, and then I had to call 112 and ask them, and I had to, like, while I'm speaking to them, they're like, we don't know this medication, you have to speak to a specialist. So they transferred my call to a specialist. I talked to them, I had to describe my symptoms, and I was also reading the pamphlet of Vampira where it says that if you have taken more than what you should immediately go to the hospital, and you have to bring your medication with you, and blah blah blah. Like, I thought I was gonna, I don't know, get a seizure or something. And then the second person was like, well, I'm not sure, you're gonna have to call the unit of, like, intoxication or something like that, like if you overdose. So they had to transfer my call a third time, or one more time, to speak to the third party. And while I'm thinking, what if a reaction is happening now? What if it's gonna go so fast, like I'm not gonna have time to advocate for myself before, like, something bad happens? And it really scared me. It really, really, really scared me. And I spoke to the lady, the last one I was speaking to, and she said to me, well, if you did, like, she was trying to rationalize with me and speak, like, to my logic side of the brain, and be like, if you did not take the pill this morning, you did take it this evening. Like, if you doubled up in the evening but you forgot in the morning, that means that at least you have not over consumed, like, the dosage of that 24 hours. So for her it was like, it's not that bad, I don't think you have to worry. And I remember feeling very it was like double for me. I was feeling relieved, but I also didn't believe her. So I hung up the phone, and I was so desperate. I was like, God, I need you now, I need your help, like, what should I do? And in that moment when I had that thinking, I can hear my daughter scream from her bedroom. And I don't even know what she said, but she was screaming from her bedroom. And I had to run in to see what was going on. And she was not sleepwalking, but, like, she was sitting in her bed talking, but she was still asleep. And she would say something that made no sense. She would lie down, and then she would sit up again and say something that made no sense, and then she would lie down, and then she sat up a last time. And I looked her in the eyes, but she was sleeping, and I said, Natalie, you are sleeping? And she started crying and looking at me, but, like, not seeing me. It was like looking in the eyes of a blind person, where you know that they're looking at you but they can't see you. It was quite scary, actually. And I just took her down from her top bunk on the bed, and I was surprised of my strength in that moment. And I carried her to my bedroom. It was like my motherly instinct took over. And while I was doing that, like, when I took her into my arms, what came out of her mouth was, Mommy, I just want to help you, in Spanish. So I'm translating. And I felt like that was a sign from above. Like, I feel like that was not her speaking, that was God speaking through her. And immediately, like, all my anxiety, all my worries went away. Like, I had to focus on her. And she ended up waking up, and she spent the rest of the night in my bed. We were just next to each other, like, feeling sorry for each other, I think. But it was like in an instant I was sober from my state of despair and, like, frightenedness. But it's not the first time something like that happens to me, when my brain will, like, be quick to make an unrash, like, decision based off of fear, or, like, I get, like, scared for something, and my brain will tell me to do something before, like, the rest of my brain catches up with what's actually happening, and I will do something that's completely unrational, and later I will come to regret what I've just done. But this is the first time it has happened, like, related to my medication and stuff, and that was quite scary. So I don't know. Caesar is now having to tell me every day, have you taken your medicine? Or, like, the alarm will go off, and he was like, okay, now you go take your medicine, and things like that. So I don't know what I would do without him. I mean, the kids are the same. In the morning they will hear my alarm, and they will remind me to go and take it. Oh, bless them. I don't know what I would do without my family, but takes a village, I guess. So I just thought I would share that with you because it was quite scary. I'm sure I'm not the only one who've done this. But yeah, be careful, like don't just shove a pill in your mouth if you think that you forgot, because make sure before you do that. Because this time nothing bad happened, but I mean I could have had a really bad reaction, so it could have been like not a very nice outcome. So I'm grateful nothing else happened. I just got scared. I will see you guys in my next video. I love you so much. Bye.